Now I'll admit, I'm not much of a drone person. I mean, I like the idea, but the devices themselves were always big, bulky, and very situational. And in all the time that I've spent with these devices, they were always a pain to set up, and realistically, you could only fly them for a short while. But then everything changed. Manufacturers began folding their drones, and what you ended up with were small, capable flying cameras that could basically fit in your pocket. If you're one of those people who wear huge cargo pants with ginormous pockets, but still a pocketable flying camera, that's pretty awesome. Everything started with the GoPro Karma and its innovative idea of modularity, and it was doing very well until it started falling out of the sky. But then along came the DJI Mavic Pro, and it was phenomenal. It was small, very powerful, and basically in a class of its own. But then they were faced with another problem, because how do you follow up on something that's as game-changing as that? Well, according to DJI, you slap a zoom lens on it. Okay, there were really two Mavic 2 drones, but the Pro one had a bigger sensor while the Zoom variant featured a zoom lens. Naturally, I was more interested in the Zoom because of all the versatility and the potential, and not because DJI didn't send me a Pro. But I'm glad I got the Zoom because it was a really awesome drone to use. Like I said, I'm not the best drone pilot in the world, so I was pretty worried that I would just crash it immediately. But I have to say that the Mavic 2 Zoom is a really easy drone to fly. It's way more stable than something like a DJI Spark, and it doesn't do things that you don't expect. It's a controlled experience, and one that's very easy to pick up. I was also surprised by how powerful the drone is. Despite being so small, this thing is a beast in the air. It climbs and accelerates better than you'd think something of this size could, and that was very impressive. I was particularly fond of how quiet the drone was. However, it's a bit hard to pick up on camera, but in person, it's way more silent than your usual drone buzzing. Range was pretty good in my experience, but I flew in a fairly dense urban and suburban area, so there were definitely instances of disconnection and a lot of panicking, so it's better if you operate this in like a big empty field or an open space with no tall buildings and big hills to lose your drone over. It also packs a whole host of autonomous safety features that actually make the drone quite hard to crash. But my favorite autonomous feature has to be the new and improved Active Track feature. Thanks to the Mavic 2 Zoom's Advanced Pilot Assistance Systems, or APAS, the drone is able to actively avoid obstacles while following and tracking its target. Naturally, I had to put this to the test, so I ran around like an idiot, darting behind trees, trying to break line of sight with the drone, and to my surprise, it worked way better than I thought that it would. I mean, it didn't crash or run into anything, though there were definitely moments where I thought it was going to crash for sure. But it did lose me if I hid behind a tree for too long, and sometimes it would pick me up again when I came back into view, but there were also times where it didn't. Still, all things considered, you can color me impressed. Then there's the zooming. Wow, does this change things. With the Mavic 2 Zoom, you can basically get a 2x optical zoom from 24mm all the way up to a 48mm equivalent. And it's a big change because this is the first time you can do something like this on a consumer-grade drone that's this tiny. You get more reach so you can be less obtrusive, and you also get a brand new dimension to play with when you're doing complicated camera movements. However, my favorite thing about this is the built-in dolly zoom. It's impressive, like really impressive. As a non-pro person, there is no way in hell that I can do something like this manually. But now I don't have to because at the touch of a button, the Mavic 2 Zoom will do it for me. The only thing you need to ensure is that your drone is in the right spot and there's nothing behind it to crash into, and you're good to go. Boom! Instant dolly zoom. Amazing. If I had one complaint, it would be that I couldn't find a way to reverse that effect in the drone, short of reversing the actual footage in post, so maybe DJI could push that in a future software update. There's also a hyperlapse function built in now that works like a charm too. I didn't get to test this too much because it takes a long time to get an epic shot, and the drone will only last about 25-ish minutes with a single charge, but it definitely works well. Now though, we get to the most important part, image quality. Unlike the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic 2 Zoom doesn't come with a large 1-inch sensor. Instead, it comes with a fairly standard 1/2.3-inch sensor. But how does the footage look? Well, in my pocket, I have a letter from my video editor about what he thinks of the video footage. It's gonna be good. Really? In all seriousness though, this was the hardest part for us to judge because when we had the drone for review, it was during one of the haziest periods of the year. So a lot of the footage looks like it has a lot of grain, but actually it's just very hazy. That being said, if you look past the haze, the footage looks pretty solid, especially in daylight. So it's pretty much what you'd expect from a DJI drone. Unfortunately, due to the small sensor, the drone doesn't do too well when the going gets dark. Noise is very apparent, and I wouldn't say that this footage is particularly usable. The Mavic 2 Zoom can also shoot in Cine-like, which is a flat-ish video profile that's not quite D-Log. This helps improve details in shadows and highlights, and the good news is that my video editor Zach says that the footage is very easy to grade. In fact, he says that even a beginner will be able to pick this up and grade this footage, which is great news. Overall, the Mavic 2 Zoom is a really solid upgrade over the Mavic Pro. It's more versatile, it can fly longer, and it even is more quiet to boot. But with all of these added features, the Mavic 2 Zoom is also a lot more expensive than its predecessor because it has a recommended retail price of 5,699 ringgit. Does that make it worth the features? Honestly, if you don't really need the zooming, I would go for a discounted Mavic Pro or Mavic Air instead. But if you do like the zooming, then there's really nothing else like the Mavic 2 Zoom. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. This was my first full drone review, so I'd love to hear your feedback on how I can improve. Did I miss anything important or crucial that you really wanted to know? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see if I can answer them. Also, if you want to see more footage from the Mavic 2 Zoom, like preferably not on a hazy day, let us know in the comments below too, and we'll see if we can get DJI to send us the drone again for another round of flyby shooting. But for this video, that is where I'm going to end it. Make sure you check out our latest video over here and a mystery video over here. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the notification bell icon so that you won't miss any of our future uploads. Like us on Facebook, check us out on soyachinchow.com, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching once again. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!